Good morning, Pilates Body community. Viki Mills Ranchetti coming to you from my fine little kitchen. I am a Pilates trainer at the Pilates Body as well as a nutritional therapist. So I just wanted to share with you a really quick, easy, nutrient-dense recipe that supports health and wellness and a way to utilize some of the perishable foods that you might be buying. I'm going to make banana pancakes. So if you're like me, I stockpile bananas. I use them to make these banana pancakes, and then I also use them when they're nice and ripe like this. I peel them and I put them in a Tupperware container and put them in my freezer so that I can utilize them to sweeten up and smooth up the smoothies that I make. So today I'm teaching you a really simple recipe for almond butter pancakes. Almond butter is a complete protein. It's a nutrient-dense food. It has very little sugar, so it's a low-carb food, and the majority of the carbs that come from almonds come from the fiber in the almonds. So when I was grocery shopping, you might be surprised to know that things were sparse on the shelf. So I did at Whole Foods get their ground almond butter. The recipe calls for 1/2 cup of ground almond butter, 2 ripe bananas mashed, and 2 eggs. I use farm fresh eggs. I'm a drop site for a farm to consumer connection. So these are soy-free, grain-free eggs from truly foraging chicken. The other ingredient is just 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda to help fluff those pancakes up. And I always like to add just a little bit of vanilla. I think vanilla is a great flavor, and I love to add that in. So I am going to double up the recipe. The reason I like to double and sometimes even triple the recipe is because these pancakes are so delicious. They're a great way to do a nutrient-dense hit in the morning, but they're fabulous snacks. So when we have all these little ones home and they're scavenging for snacks, and we're in uncertain times and we want to create a strong immunity, it's good to have healthy snacks for them to grab and go. So I've mashed up the bananas, I whipped in the eggs. So that was, the standard recipe is 2 mashed bananas, 2 eggs. I did my splash of vanilla. I'm gonna add in the almond butter. I wanna give a shout out to Whitey Paleo, or maybe it's Witty Paleo, but it's WHITTY paleo.com. That's where I found this recipe. So when I'm looking for variety or just new things to do, or a spin on the old tried and true, I often will just Google paleo and look up recipes that meet the ingredients that I have on hand. So you just need to mix in that almond butter. Like I said, I've mashed my bananas, I've whisked in my 2 eggs, I've added now my 1/2 cup of almond butter. If you're keen and you realize that I'm actually doing a cup of almond butter, that's because I'm doubling it, like I said before. So I was talking about the value of the almonds and how it's a good source of protein. It's a great source of fat. Fat's your slow burning fuel. So don't be afraid of fat. It's what's going to keep you satiated, help minimize some of your cravings. That it's a low carbohydrate food, that it has the majority of its carbs coming from the fiber in the almonds. Eggs, those are again a nutrient-dense food. They have about 7 grams of protein per eggs, generally speaking, and 5 grams of fat. They're rich with lutein, which is a immuno-boosting nutrient, as well as iron, vitamins, minerals. And then we got our bananas, and bananas are a great food. They often get a bad rap for the high sugar content, but they are rich in potassium and fiber, B6 and vitamin C. Again, some really good nutrients to help support our immune system. So the last thing I'm going to do is just drop in that 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda to help fluff up the pancakes. And the best way to serve these, of course, little ones love a ton of sugar, right? And when your body has a lot of sugar on board, it has to manage the blood sugar before it's going to help support your immunity. So you really want to keep sugar at a minimum, especially if someone is coming down with any sort of symptoms whatsoever. And oftentimes, if you let those bananas ripen up enough, they're going to be a sweet enough hit. Well, they are for me, but great way to serve these pancakes is just loaded with butter. Butter is a superfood. Again, don't be afraid of your fats. They're awesome, an awesome source of slow burning fuel. They help with nerve conduction. It helps with hormone creation. It's a very valuable nutrient. We really do need to get all nutrients in. So doing only a high fat diet with no carbs and limited protein isn't a good option. Any extreme, in my opinion, is not a good option. So I've got my griddle here heating up. I have a little spoon that came with a rice maker actually, and I love this tool because it's just about, I would say, maybe 2/3 of a cup or 1/4 a cup of batter. And this is a non-stick griddle. I can get about 8 pancakes on here. And you cook them for just maybe a couple minutes per side. Really, you look to see when they start to bubble, just like you would your normal pancakes. And once they start to bubble, then you want to get those flipped. I will tell you for sure, I have a 9-year-old son. I have 3 sons, varying ages from 22 down to 9, almost 10. And these are a big hit. They're a big hit with me too, sometimes too big of a hit. So my hope for you all is that you stay calm, you breathe, you check out our Facebook Live so that you can move that body. Movement is good, helps boost your immune system, helps minimize your stress in these stressful times. It's fun. It's just a sense of community, right? When we're all kind of housebound and locked in and maybe going a little stir crazy. But most importantly, from a nutritional standpoint, my hope is that you really think about what you're putting in your body. It's a great time to assess that, to keep it simple. Simple is always best. That doesn't mean it's not flavorful. But as I always say, just eat real food.